we are making some good progress on the Tesla Y. So if you haven't, there should be a bunch of videos before this, basically taking it from delivery, decontaminating the whole thing, washing the paint, ironing out, getting the paint nice and clean, then polishing the paint, and then PPF the paint, so paint protection film over the entire car, all the painting surfaces at PPF now. And the next step is, and then I've also polished the glass, and I've now also put a ceramic coating on that, Gtechniq G1. And the next step, logical step to kind of finish the paint process would be ceramic coating on top of the lead film. Now, some people think we're crazy, right? So you polish it, and then you put paint protection film on it, and then you ceramic coat it. So you protection. But let me give you my methodology. So the paint's pristine, it's new. I'd like to keep it that way. Some people don't care. To each their own. They go spend your money on something more important. I personally like to keep the paint new, and I know in 5 years or 8 years, if I decide to go sell this thing, I can pull the PPF off and the paint's brand new and the car's in fantastic shape. I like that. And paint protection film, in my mind, is primarily there to protect it from rock chips, to protect it from scratches, from door dings, basically the harsh, stuff that gets banged into it, and keep chipping from happening. And it'll do that pretty well. It won't do it 100%, and maybe you get unlucky and it goes through the PPF. Sometimes it happens, but it'll definitely look better than it would without PPF. But PPF can be prone to contaminants, bird droppings, water spot etching, things like that actually get on the paint, chemically etch the PPF. And the PPF has marks on it, and it's very tough to get out, if not impossible. So what ceramic coating does on top of the PPF is, one, it'll help to give it an extra layer of just cleanliness, so it'll give it a little more slickness. Water will sheet off of it more, dirt won't stick as easy to it, so it's just easier to clean. But more importantly, it's an additional sacrificial layer for the PPF, for the paint protection film. So that way, if bird droppings do get on it, you still want to remove it as quickly as possible and not let them sit. But if it does happen, hopefully the ceramic coating will help protect it, and then all you need to do is do a quick polish perhaps on the ceramic coating just to kind of remove that area, and then re-ceramic coat it. So that's the thought process behind it. There's a reason for the madness. This is how I do it. This is how I have another car that I keep. This is how I've done that. My wife's car, this is how we've done that. And they just stay so nice and so clean and easy to maintain. So I'm using Gtechniq Halo. This is specifically intended for vinyl wraps and paint protection film. So it's been developed to bond and adhere to basically plastic within. So if you get this is a 30 milliliter bottle, which should be plenty to do 2 coats on this car. So it's recommended to do 2 coats. So I'll go around and do 1 coat. I'll show you most of that, and then I'll do a second coat, maybe say an hour to 2 hours later. I'll come back and do a second coat, and then wrap things up. But this should be plenty to do that. In the box comes with gloves, which I already have, an applicator pad, which is not bad actually, but wait 1 second. I have a different one that I'm going to use. These are nice. They're a little bigger, a little more robust. They're good for ceramic coating. They have like a liner on the inside, so some of these are just cushions on the inside, just pads, and it soaks through and you lose a lot of your coating. These have a liner on the inside, so it's nice and soft and microfiber, but it won't soak in, so you lose all your coating. So this is what I'm going to use to be applying the Halo. And then of course the bottle of film coating. So, and then this has a, just correct it, this has a dropper on it to spread on there, so I don't need a pipette or anything. So that's that. What I've done before I brought you guys on here is I've wiped down most of the car. So this is just a bottle of just alcohol, isopropyl alcohol, 30% isopropyl alcohol and water. That's all it is. I just have it in a spare bottle that I have sitting around. You can also use, they have surface prep, which I have in there. I'm not using it for this. I like to use just face alcohol. That way I know there's nothing in it. It's very clean, and it just flashes off the paint pretty easy. So I've gone around, wiped nice soft microfiber, an IPA, wiped everything down. You really want to make sure you've gotten all the grease, any contaminants off the paint. It's got to be just, and off the PPF. It's got to be just super clean. This hasn't been outside, so that PPF did, so the only thing really that's on here would be a little bit of dust and fingerprints. So you just got to get all that off. I got a few panels here to finish up, which will bring you along. I'm also wiping down all the plastics. All the plastics are going to get coated today as well with the C4. C4 is Gtechniq's plastic coating, and it basically just, it just helps to keep the plastic looking nice. Particularly if it's old plastic, it'll bring it back to new and make it look really black. It gives it a matte finish. It doesn't make it shiny. And for new cars, I like it because it's just going to keep it fresh. It's going to keep it UV protected. Every couple years, I'll come back in. I'll decontaminate all this, and then I'll reapply Halo again. It'll kind of become part of my maintenance process for this car every couple years. And then I'll do the same thing with the trim. And that way, year after year, everything's protected, particularly from the sun and the elements, and it just stays nice. So that's the plan. Let me finish wiping this down. Basically, I just have this door to do and this door. Everything else has been wiped down, and then we'll get applying. And the only other thing I will tell you is I'm still missing my hood emblem and my hatch emblem, plus the rear spoilers isn't here yet. So I'm going to be leaving little areas where those are going to go that I will not coat, so I can put those emblems on without any coatings. Otherwise, there's risk of the adhesive from those emblems and stuff not sticking. And then once they're applied, I'll come back with what's left in the bottle. It should be within the next week or so the bottle will be fine. And I'll coat those areas and the emblems and the spoiler with Halo, so it's all coated. And then that way it's all done. But you will see me kind of work around those areas just because I don't want to coat them until the stuff's stuck on the PPF. just want to shake this a little bit. I'll put some on the hood here in real time so you can kind of see it in action. Two microfiber towels, clean microfiber towels. I use one to wipe off the excess, and then another to come back and do a second wipe on that area. And you want to work, I'm probably going to do, probably do like the hood, for instance, in squares. I'll leave this area open again just because that's where the emblem's going to go back on. But whatever area you do with the coating, you want to make sure when you wipe in a bigger area, because you want to make sure you don't want to leave any of this coating that's globbed or what we call high spots, because if you leave high spots on the coating, it'll look different than where there are no high spots. And you'll actually be able to see it, and once it's hardened, it's very tough to get off. So you want to be careful with that. So I'm going to mix this up or shake it up pretty good. The first application. I'm going to wet this pretty good. I'm going to do half. And I'm going to come back, basically cross hatch it. And this is pretty much wipe on, wipe off product. Let it flash for real quick and then wipe off. It's that easy. You see, as I wipe this off, I push some out. So you want to make sure you pick your second towel and really, and if you have any that got extended across into your adjacent body panels, you got to make sure that's off. Because again, if you miss it, you can come back later. You'll see the high spot, you'll see it sitting there, and you won't be able to get it off. I'll refill some of this. Alright. So I'm going to leave It's a little trickier when you're trying to miss a spot instead of making sure you hit a spot, hit all the spots. Just and make sure I miss what I want to miss and hit what hit everything else. You can actually see it start to want to bubble up a little bit. And at that point it's starting to flash. That out. There's something on the towel, I can see it. It's making marks on the PPF. Hugely on the PPF because no amount, especially if that was paint, freshly polished paint. That would be good. So again, even like the front headlights, side view mirrors, they all have PPF, so. Crazy how thin this hood is. And you barely push on it and the thing just collapses. It's so thin. Alright. Just take a quick look. Across, I have pretty good lighting here. Make sure I don't have any high spots. Take your time, that's the key. After you've done all the work on the car, this is kind of the final step to lock everything in. You don't want to rush it. Alright. That's the hood. That same process now on the rest of the car except the windows, obviously because I did the windows already. And then wait a couple hours, come back out, do this whole process again, and it's all locked in, except for where the emblems go, and I'll hit that once I get those on, and this weather. All right, I'll let you move this pretty quick. And I work, so you don't forget where you're at. I'll try to do big, whole pieces. So I'll do the front bumper now, and then I'll work my way around segment by segment, make sure I don't miss anything. the front clip, basically, first coat, and the whole driver's side first coat. So I'll bring you back when we're going around, finish the first coat, get the second coat pretty much done, kind of bring it back and have you take a look, and I'll talk about kind of what it feels like, the slickness and stuff on it. So. All right, welcome back. So I did one coat on the whole car, and I'll walk you around a little bit, just to see if the gloss level's looking really nice. I mean, it's looking really good. Ceramic coating just, in general, just make the car look so much shinier and more slick. So, whole car's been coated once. I went in, waited an hour and a half or so. Came back out. I wouldn't have had to wait that long probably because, by the time I got all the way around the car the first time, it's probably an hour, so I probably could have started right up again on the hood if I wanted to. But anyway, I've now worked my way back around on the second coat. The only thing I have left is just this rear part of the license plate on the hatch and then the rear bumper. And then I'll have, once I get my emblems and the spoiler, I'll just have this little section and then a little square in the front to coat. And I should have enough here left over that when they come in and I attach them, I'll be able to coat it real fast with what's left over here. So let me finish this and I'll walk you around, just walk you around let you see real fast. Second coat definitely goes on, it comes off faster, you don't need as much product. But it goes on and off real fast too on that first coat. You just don't need as much to get where you're going here on the second coat. You mostly just want to make sure that you have wet coming off the sponge and you get the whole surface area. You don't want to leave anything behind because then you'll have a spot that's not coated. So just do that one spot. And then wipe with my 2 towels again. I can kind of see, you won't be able to see it, I can kind of see it changing color. With this Halo, you don't really have to wait. It's a wipe on, wipe off product. I just give it a few seconds to set up. But if you don't want to chance it, you can just go ahead and wipe on, wipe off. That easy. I'll take the second towel and just give it one more once over. Make sure I didn't touch anything sitting next to it. Pretty good? And then just the rear bumper, I'll do in 2 sections. I'll do this half and that half. I'm going to lift the rear hatch for that. So I can get, because the PPF wrapped, so I wrapped it and it runs all the way in here and covers all this. So not only will this be protected, but this piece is protected as well. So when you're loading stuff into the trunk, protect that corner section, which is nice. Always make sure to close your cap every time, because If you spill it, it's gone. And I don't remember the price, but it's like a $70, $80 bottle of ceramic coating. So, rather not lose it, I think. This is about a 2-year coating. If you maintain it, take care of it, it should last that long. You know, my plan will be about every 2 years. At minimum every 2 years. I'll decontaminate the whole car. Probably decontaminate maybe every year, more than likely. What that means is after I wash, I'll take iron remover, iron out the whole thing, and just make sure everything's cleaned up, make sure there's no tar anywhere, stuff like that. But minimum I'll do that every year probably, but then every 2 years I'll do that very thoroughly. And then I'll come back around and I'll do another application of Halo for protection, and at the same time I'll probably recoat all the trim. Which just will keep it looking nicer, longer, and protected from the elements, and UV, all the nasty nature that's out there. Alright. Last section. Enough to finish. One other part's get here. All right. So next, I'm going to do the trim. It's another Gtechniq product, C4, which is their trim coating. It basically just helps to kind of protect it from the elements, protect it from UV. So a lot of, like, as your car gets older, you'll see black trim, and there's a lot of black trim actually on these Teslas. At least on the Y there is. I'm assuming there's on the 3 as well. Not sure about the other ones. I think the X and the S may be more painted. But anyway, as you see cars get older in age, black trim starts to fade and just generally not look real good. You know, that's from Mother Nature and mostly from the sun. And so trim coating just helps to slow that down. It doesn't stop it, but slows it down, just helps to keep it looking nicer longer. And I spent a lot of money on the car, so I find it hard to believe people buy expensive houses, or buy houses in general, which are always expensive, they generally take care of it and put money into it, make it look nice, and make sure it's going to last. Oh no. Car's no different. Spent $50,000 on a Model Y, or 60 in some cases, or 70 in some cases. You know, I think you'd want to keep it looking nice, right? It's not an investment like a house, but you know, houses, I get it, houses appreciate, hopefully. Cars go down, but the nicer they, the more you keep them nice, better shape they are, the less they'll go down. And I don't like driving around in a piece of crap, frankly. No offense. All right. That's it. So, probably a couple hours, 2.5 hours to do, yeah, probably 2.5, 3 hours. Wipe the whole thing down with like alcohol, diluted alcohol solution to make sure it was spotless, clean, no grease or anything on it, so the ceramic coating adheres. And so that took a little longer. First coat, let it sit for a little bit. Second coat right away on top of it, and here it is. So, remember, this was clean, decontaminated, heavy iron particles in it when I first got it. It's a brand new car, 20 miles on it. Polished the whole thing, just a one step, didn't require anything more than that. PPF on top of the whole painted surface. And then, if you remember, there were, you won't see them anymore, but there were sanding spots. Right here, there were 2 dots. They're gone. And there were swirls, scratches all over the place. Just from washing, assuming from Tesla washing the car. There I am. Looks pretty good, even with PPF. Sorry, I keep banging this thing. It looks pretty good. Again, the whole front bumper, headlights, hood, quarter panels, front rear quarter panels, doors, pillars. A, B, C pillar. This is not really a C pillar because of the trunk, but A and B pillar. Side view mirrors. I think these are the only pieces of piano black on the whole car. This little triangle on both sides. That got PPF. Then I polished, you know, you'll see I think you already saw a video where I polished the glass and glass coated that as well. So the only thing left is the trim, and it's pretty much ready to go. Hopefully I'll get the emblems here soon. And the rear spoiler here in the next week. You can attach those and finish that up, and then it's, you know, the paint is pretty much done. Working on the wheels, and then calipers are coming. I want to paint, can't decide if I'm going to paint or powder coat, but I'm going to finish the calipers so they're finished, and then I'll ceramic coat those when I ceramic coat the new wheels. With C5, Gtechniq C5, which is their high temp coating. And that'll just keep them nice. Not that you use the brakes much on this, but. All right, that'll wrap it up for Gtechniq Halo and 2 coats on my Tesla Y. See ya.